difficult day. That gentleman very upset. I spoke to another gentleman, a 35-year veteran of the plant. He was blindsided as well. His family worked here before this, even 20 years prior to him starting. So a 50-year family legacy of people working here at the rubber plant here in the town of Tonawanda. And again, everybody blindsided. I've been reaching out to officials. I was tipped off to this actually a couple days ago. We didn't have anything really confirmed yet, but I've been trying to reach out to officials, state officials being very quiet about this for quite some time.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, while scrolling looking for content, I came across this particular news feature. Seeing that this is a part of the automotive sector, I felt very compelled to carry it. And this is in line with what we have been discussing or have been talking about for the last couple of months, especially since the introduction of the EV mandate and how it has been affecting, especially with the current recession and financial situation that is hitting a lot of us. I've mentioned before that what is happening in the automotive industry may have been caused by certain decisions at the top and through activism compounded by basically poor management. Okay, so here's what's happening at the Sumitomo Rubber plant in Tonawanda, New York. 1,550 workers were told to take some time off, supposedly to balance out inventory. As it turned out, that temporary break was actually the lead up to a permanent shutdown. Local media confirmed that the plant closed for good, leaving everyone out of a job just before the holidays. Before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you have to leave before the end of this video, please leave a thumbs up. The algorithm will really appreciate it. Let's get into this.
We're just learning that a local tire plant is closing. Channel 2's Nate Benson joins us live now from the Sumitomo Rubber USA plant in Tonawanda. Nate, what do we know so far this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Kelly. This is a very tough day for more than 1,500 employees of Sumitomo Rubber here in the town of Tonawanda. The Japanese company abruptly announcing this morning the immediate closure of the plant. Fencing's already going up around the facility. I've talked to many employees who have come by the plant today, completely blindsided by this announcement. Nobody was notified. The union was not notified. The employees were not notified. More than 1,200 hourly union employees plus another 350 salaried employees are being let go. In fact, the plant was already shut down this week. One worker tells me that the company had too much inventory, so they shut down, paid everybody for the week so they could move some of that inventory and try to do some other maintenance and stuff around the plant. But again, they were told today that the plant will not reopen. Sumitomo Rubber announcing the abrupt closure of this more than century-year-old facility here in the town of Tonawanda. I spoke to one worker who saw us filming, and I had to confirm to him that unfortunately he had lost his job. Take a listen.
Christmas time, you know, everything going on, end of the year, a lot of families, holidays coming up. So yeah, you know, a lot of us is very upset about this through text alerts and stuff. Very mad. When we work here, we get text alerts through the company. You know, they let us know everything, production and all that. They didn't tell us anything. So like I said, I'm very upset that this is going on. If this is the case, that we're shut down for no reason, no information, no, like it's something you should tell us as employees. And a lot of us love our job.
Okay, let me pause right there before we finish up because I have at least another 2 features to show to you. But let's talk about why this is happening. Sumitomo, a Japanese-owned company, has been struggling for a while. Financial issues hit them hard in 2023 and 2024, didn't improve things. The US tire market is flooded with cheaper imports from China, making it hard for domestic plants like Sumitomo's to compete. Hence why sometimes tariffs are actually needed, not on everything. Things that are needed for vital everyday necessities, tariffs is arguable as a matter of fact, but not in this case. Chinese companies are cashing in by producing and selling tires at a fraction of the cost, which leaves companies manufacturing here with slim profit margins, if any at all. Then there's the handling of the shutdown itself. Workers are saying they had no idea. But here's where it actually gets interesting. Apparently, some upper management in New York had been working closely with Sumitomo's headquarters in Japan and were well aware this was coming. They even registered the website for shutdown updates a month before the announcement. Yet, none of this was communicated to the union or non-union employees. Let's continue.
Day. That gentleman very upset. I spoke to another gentleman, a 35-year veteran of the plant. He was blindsided as well. His family worked here before this, even 20 years prior to him starting. So a 50-year family legacy of people working here at the rubber plant here in the town of Tonawanda. And again, everybody blindsided. I've been reaching out to officials. I was tipped off to this actually a couple days ago. We didn't have anything really confirmed yet, but I've been trying to reach out to officials, state officials being very quiet about this for quite some time. But now, of course, the news is out that 1,500 employees here at Sumitomo Rubber losing their job after the abrupt closure of this facility. Kelly?
All right, Nate, appreciate your reporting. Thank you. And we did just receive a statement into our newsroom on the closure from Town of Tonawanda Supervisor Joseph Eminger. He says, quote, "We have been made aware of Sumitomo Rubber USA's announcement. Our first thoughts are with the more than 1,500 workers and their families who are impacted by this sudden plant closure. They need to know the town of Tonawanda stands with them," end quote.
Management's approach was to secure the plant first, setting up fences and hiring a ton of security before letting anyone know. Workers are understandably frustrated, especially since they had no warning. The move actually feels shady, and the lack of transparency has left long-term employees actually stunned.
It's kind of like a shell shock. They've been saying they've been closing since I've been here for 34 years. It's kind of I don't even know what word to use. It wasn't right the way that they kind of did it. I mean, they should have gave us some heads up, but they said they'd shut down for a week. They offered they're paying everybody for the 1 week, and then they said maybe longer. Lots of rumors going on in the plant. Nobody could confirm or deny anything. And now you find out today that, I get pictures from the guys that they're blocking off all the things so you can't see. They got guards. They got a guard over there with a mask on his face covering the things. So, I mean, all the years, you work hard and then you come in to see this. I mean, I can't even get into the credit union. I went to get my Christmas club check and they won't even let me into the credit union. So they closed that. They didn't even know. The credit union didn't even know. So they didn't let anybody know. It's not cool. Business is business, but at least be cordial to the guys and kind of let you know. I mean, I'm old enough now to get my pension, but you got a lot of guys that work here that don't. So, you got guys that bought new cars, new houses, and they paid good here. So these people aren't getting any money, I mean, they're offering us severance pay. I'll show you the letter that they gave us. So, but it's a shock.
This isn't just a lost job for many of these employees. It's a massive personal setback. Some of these folks have been with the company for 10, 20, even 30 years. Families have a history here with fathers passing down the job to sons. And that's how conservative traditional families work. Fathers are always looking out for their families, especially their sons, to ensure they are okay financially and to move on to the next level in life. Children who grew up without a father will or may never understand this experience, but that's another story. Now they're left with mortgages, property taxes, and living expenses in an already challenging economic environment. And that's a real problem. Housing costs are going through the roof, with mortgage payments hitting around $2,700 per month for a 30-year term compared to about $1,200 just 5 years ago. Factor in rising property taxes and insurance, and many people in the area are stretched thin, at least most people here in the West. For those who just lost their jobs, timing couldn't be much worse. This isn't an isolated case. We're seeing signs everywhere that the economy is on shaky ground. Over the last year, we've watched long-standing businesses close up shop and banks face serious instability. Yet, there's this constant push from our various governments claiming that the economy is in good shape. Meanwhile, industries that have been around for decades are collapsing.
Yeah, Nate, that list by the USW is amongst an influx of support for displaced workers in light of this massive layoff from Sumitomo. There's been a concerted effort on all levels, from local businesses to state and local government, to help the number of workers affected. We've already seen a show of support from local employers like the NFTA and Basel Cars, who are amongst the companies that have advertised specifically towards Sumitomo workers, asking them to apply to open positions. And the closure of this plant is something that is sure to create a ripple effect. Erie County and the town of Tonawanda are also losing a major taxpayer. Town Supervisor Joe Eminger says this is roughly a $450,000 hit in tax money to the town, county, and school district in total. They will, of course, readjust their budget accordingly, but the focus right now, they say, is on stabilizing the job market.
We're going to do everything in our efforts to make sure that they get employed, that they have good, well-paying jobs, and they can stay in Western New York. We want to keep the people in Western New York, an old political...
Another resource that will soon be available is a dedicated website set up by Workforce Buffalo specifically for Sumitomo workers. Now, we also have new details from the Department of Labor on a job fair set up specifically, again, for plant workers. It's happening 10 to 1 p.m. on December 3rd at the Williamsville Career Center. We will, of course, have those details on our website in just a few. On your side, Alyssa Clausel, Channel 2 News.
$455,000, and that's a lot of taxes. And that's why a lot of times when decisions are made, we don't look at the long-term repercussions and the consequences of the actions. Businesses and the business environment are constantly changing, and believe it or not, I think our career councilmen and councilwomen must also try to be abreast and focus on what the base is going through in terms of the business environment and what it takes to actually survive in the long term, not just making a particular decision now and not think about the long-term effect. I keep using the strategy long term, but sometimes, and most of the times, we don't see the results until a couple years after, when the mistake was already made. But what's the takeaway here? This Sumitomo closure isn't just a local issue. It highlights a growing trend across the United States and not the entire North America here, a very tough market, foreign competition, and companies failing to keep their doors open. And it's a warning sign that the broader economy might not be as stable as we're told. And unfortunately, the workers at this plant are the ones currently paying the price. As it is, once a decision is made, particularly that affects new car sales, that trickles down to used car sales, then a lot of subsidiaries that benefit from the moving and the sale of cars will be affected. And this Sumitomo plant is one such. If cars aren't moving fast enough off the lots, then there won't be enough tires to supply to a lot of these cars, usually in terms of maintenance for years down the line. We have to look at the way how we do business and what derivatives, we call them, subsidiaries, that comes from this one particular instance. As I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and prayer goes out to the workers at that Sumitomo plant, because we haven't seen the end of it. There is more to come. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.